Alright, so we are rocking the Canon EOS R10 on automatic. As usual, just gonna go ahead and take a walk around the neighborhood and just try to see how this thing performs. Now, the most famous thing about this thing is they communicated in the advertisements for this camera, the EOS R10, that it's not good at stability since it doesn't have in-body stabilization. So far that I'm looking at, it looks pretty stable to me. Now, I do have this thing held on by a table tripod, so you will experience some type of, shaking, but not, like to the point where I think it'll ruin the video. To make sure that my audio is a little bit consistent, I have me a wireless lavalier as well. And to make sure that I'm capturing as much as the scene as possible, I'm rocking a 10 to 18 millimeter lens. So what I'm seeing right now is that the sky's a little bit blown out, but it's out on automatic, so it slowly adjusts to the scenery that's present. So I guess I'm going to test both lenses out today. So here's the 10 to 18 millimeter lens and the famous stop sign test. So let's rotate this thing around. Hope I don't break it. All right. So of course 10 to 18 millimeter lenses aren't known do something with the ISO. So the ISO went all the way up to 6400. So what we need to do is just adjust that. Do it one more time for good effect, because 1/60, and maybe that would have been better off on automatic, but the highest that it goes is 22. Yeah. So that's how you counterbalance it. Crank up that shutter speed, and that's most unfortunate, but that is the only way that I know right now to counterbalance that sun speed, or to counterbalance the sun. Either that, or put my back up against the sun. And still, I need to go and crank up that shutter speed some. And that's the best way that I know of how to fix that. Alright, so that seems to going to fix the problem with the ISO. Just set it to automatic, set it and forget it. See what settings I have right now for the show. And no, it won't. Alright, so right now I'm at shutter speed 1/60, f22. Go ahead and blind it out. Probably need something like a something to limit the light that's coming into the lens. But that seemed to going to do the trick. And then since I'm at ISO, is alright. So put it back into auto exposure, and sometimes these cameras are going to play a trick on you, where from the outside looking in, since I'm the one looking at this camera lens, it may look horrible when you're viewing it yourself. However, it'll look a whole lot more better as soon as you go ahead and put it on the computer and edit it down some. Just a light. But right now, I'm seeing that there's a whole lot of stuff that can't be fixed about how much light this thing takes in. And a better lens would probably going to do the trick. Right now, the lowest that I can go with my lens setting right now is 3.5 with the 18 to 150 lens. So let's try to go on get another lens on and see how that does. So after handling the lens in the grand old outdoors, what I noticed is that even with the battery and the lens and the camera, it's light. So you can go ahead and theoretically carry this around, most of the day, and you're not going to incur too much pain. Especially if you're sitting, or you have this thing propped up against your arm where it's not too much weight bearing in the first place. However, I can see a problem with bumping the camera some if you was wanting to go and keep the lens and the camera exposed, because you'll be bumping into all types of stuff. But aside from that, the 10 to 18 millimeter lens with this EOS R10 is a pretty good deal, and especially in consistent lighting. Now in bright lights, like when I was outside, you can expect some like blowout, and who knows, that's probably user error on my part. That wasn't too good because I just went ahead and just have a thing on here. But you can expect some blowout if you go outside. But if you know how to go ahead and adjust your settings to counteract that. For example, raising up the shutter speed or lowering down the ISO. You should be able to go in and counterbalance that just fine, even with a cheaper lens. That's my opinion right now, anyway. And the 10 to 18 millimeter lens does offer a very, very, wide view. So you can go in and capture your whole, environment. But I don't think that it has the same color as my, action camera. All right, so right now we are rocking with the 18 to 150 millimeter lens. This is a little bit more heavier setup. So I guess we're gonna go and see, like right now, it's overexposing by a mug. But it doesn't take too long to go and bounce back. So when it's a little bit, like more, shiny than usual, I'll go and get kind of like an ND filter or something like that to really just counterbalance all that, light flooding through the lens. But aside from that, it's not too bad. Like I said, it might turn out a whole lot more better as soon as I get it on the computer, as opposed to what I'm looking at right now. It's a little bit more heavier than the 10 to 18 millimeter lens, but besides for that, it'll do. Just gotta go and switch hands a little bit. But aside for that, when I walk back, I'm gonna go and put this thing into manual settings and try to see, because I think I know where I went wrong. They have like several display settings on this camera. So when you're going through the display settings, you gotta go and set it to where you can go ahead and set the things manually in the things up here at the bottom. That was my problem. I didn't do that the first time. So I'm going to do this good old stoplight test. See how far that reaches. So it'll reach it. Well, barely. But we're not in this for reach. We're in this for a little bit of blogging. Oh my gosh. We are having a hard time focusing, but that's what the autofocus is for. So you just teach the thing how to focus, and you go ahead and put your fingers on where you want it to focus, and it says, my bad, I didn't know where you was wanting me to focus at. All right, so I have it back down to manual. We have a shutter speed of 1/16, f-stop f/16, and ISO to the lowest setting at 100. I have my back up against the sun, so that's no problem. Now, since this is a smaller camera, it shouldn't be too much shake, but still, I don't know how to go in and prevent things from being blown out. When I capture something, I want to capture my whole, like background, and want to know that things are not, being blown out. I don't know how to go and do that yet. However, I think that this thing is like good for indoors or good for settings that are not too brightly lit, because for some reason, without a ND filter or something like that, I can see how this thing can go in and get blown out often, to the point where you can't even see yourself, or you're trying to constantly like aim to where you get more lighting. But we'll see how this works when I go ahead and put it in the computer and just try to see how it works overall. So back inside the house. Gotta go ahead and raise up lower down the f-stop for inside all the way down to 3.5. Lower down that shutter speed. Raise up the ISO, and it's just fine. So manual, you'll be doing a little bit of work, but so long as you're going to keep your lighting consistent, you get the best payoff using manual. However, if you're in a setting that you think that the lighting is always going to change, then automatic would be your best bet. I guess that would be common sense, but sometimes common sense has going to be said. So I'll be Captain Obvious today.